Dobry dzień, mnie zовут Kyle, ja własnik kompanii HireUA. My name is Kyle. I am the owner and founder at HireUA, a recruiting firm that specializes in placing high-end Ukrainian people into high-paying Western remote jobs. I have some questions here from my friends Vlad and Lily about our company, about how I got started, and about my former life in Ukraine. So I got my list of questions here, and I'm going to do this interview. First questions. Kyle, could you share with us your inspiring journey of becoming a successful recruiter? So let me preface this by saying I am not a recruiter in any way, shape, or form. I am a business owner. I love business. The recruiting is done solely by my team, which is comprised pretty much exclusively of Ukrainians. It's just me, and one of our sales guys is American as well. But other than that, it is the girls in the recruiting team who just do an amazing job finding good candidates, getting them into jobs. So yeah, that's my story. I mean, ultimately, I lived in Ukraine for 5 years. I lived in Kiev. I started seeing just how talented people in Ukraine were. I saw the potential, and it was really just a matter of having that first person that I hired who was Ukrainian, and I realized like, wow, there's a lot of potential out here. There's a lot of good, smart, talented people in this country, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be getting some of these really good paying remote jobs as opposed to people in like India and the Philippines, the more traditional outsourcing countries. Question number 2, how did the idea for creating the innovative recruiting agency HireUA in Ukraine come to fruition? So I had a few friends that had asked me like, are there smart people out there? Are there good people out there? And I actually hired Kate, who is my senior technical recruiter now, and I hired her as an assistant in Ukraine, and she was just really good, really sharp, always responsive, always on top of things, and just did really good. And I started realizing like, hey, there might actually be a market for this out here, and that's kind of where the idea came from. And obviously it has grown significantly since its inception 2 years ago. As HireUA has grown and evolved, what challenges have you faced and overcome at different stages in Ukraine's competitive recruitment market? So we, for the most part, don't really have too many issues finding candidates. We're pretty well equipped to find people quickly and find really good people. If we were an internal Ukrainian company, it would be a totally different ballgame. If we were working in grivnas, if we were working in the current conditions, right? So we have this problem too with some of the people that we place, like power is an issue, heating's an issue. The whole winter has been extremely difficult, extremely taxing, but it's business. You have to just figure it out. Can you provide some insight on how to navigate and succeed in Ukraine's competitive recruitment market? If I was, for example, looking for a job in Ukraine, you need to start setting yourself apart just as far as your English, your willingness to learn, your ability to get online, stay online. These are all pretty critical factors. If you've got good English skills and you've got that desire to work in like a Western company, you really do have a lot of potential opportunities out there, even if you're still in Ukraine at this point. As the job market continues to evolve, what are the current trends and demands for specialists in various industries? So right now, the hot one obviously is artificial intelligence, AI, with the emergence of say ChatGPT and everything else that's been kind of just exploding into the market recently. We are getting so many requests like, do you have AI engineers? Do you have people that are familiar with how to work this technology? The reality is they're also not ready for it. They don't know what they exactly want this person to do. So there's all these different factors that are coming into play, and the reality is I don't think any of us are really actually ready for it. What countries do you collaborate with the most, and where is the highest demand for Ukrainian talent? So I'm American, born and raised in California, so obviously all my business, all my ties are primarily American. I would say the majority of our clients all US based, but we also have people in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United Kingdom, obviously England. Anywhere where English is a primary language is a good opportunity for Ukrainian people if you have high levels of English and can work in English competently and fluently. Next question, what drives the HireUA team to continuously strive for excellence and push for even greater success in the recruitment industry? And this sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's the fact that everybody's winning in our situation, right? So a Ukrainian who gets a remote job online is able to leave Ukraine, or if they're still in Ukraine, they're able to make dollars, they're able to help their family, help their friends. The person that we place in a business, it's a win for them. On the other side of that, the companies that we place people in, it's also a win for them because they're getting a high level talented person at a fraction of the cost of what you would pay here in the United States. How do you foster a positive and productive team culture at HireUA, and what role does team dynamics play in the success of the agency? And the way we have things structured is we have certain people who do certain things in terms of the process. We have people that are dedicated to searching, and then people who are dedicated to client communications. We've gone from 3 people in August of 2022 to now a team of 13 as of today. Today is February 17th. We've hired creative types, we've hired more recruiters, we've hired client success managers. I have a full-time dedicated executive assistant. The goal is really to kind of make sure that people are given an opportunity to thrive in their role, and part of that is like not making sure that they're doing too many different things. If you get the job done at HireUA, you're going to be given flexibility. I'm not going to sit there and make people install screen trackers. I'm not going to nickel and dime them for every minute of their time, but I do expect the job to be done, and I expect the job to be done well. And if you don't meet that criteria, you simply won't make it at this company. How do you measure the success of your recruiting efforts, and what are the key metrics that you track? Speed, placements closed, and client satisfaction afterwards. That simple. Does HireUA solely specialize in providing recruiting services for businesses, or does the agency also offer solutions for other critical business needs? We do some higher level integrations. For example, a lot of American companies these days want what's called a sales development representative, which means they want somebody to say dial the phone for warm leads. So somebody submits an ad on Facebook or submits a form on Facebook, they get their info, they call that person and they chat with them about the service. If they're a qualified person for that service or for that business, then they'll set an appointment with a sales associate. So we actually provide trained SDRs now that are going into people's businesses, already trained, and we're going to coach them on your specific offer in your business. We also are doing higher level integration services with executive assistants, projects managers, operations managers, and other high level positions where either someone like myself is actually going to go into the business of the client, look at what's bottlenecking their time, look at what the operations are, how that's all laid out. We're actually going to put that person in and train them very exclusively and very much integrate them with the client. Can you share some strategies for effectively streamlining the hiring process and ensuring a smooth and efficient candidate experience? Honestly, the biggest bottleneck, and I tell businesses this all the time, is just to make sure that you communicate clearly. So many times people are not clear about the expectations of their job or what they are supposed to be doing in their role, and you're just setting them up for failure. So what you really want to do is make sure hey, the first thing you do every day, this is the second thing. If you finish with all your tasks of the first two things, this is the third thing that you do, and it's clear, the expectations are clear, the KPIs that they need to hit are clear. If you set clear ground rules and you make sure everyone knows what the rules are from the start, you're much more likely to have a higher success rate. Okay, last question. Can you speak to the challenges and opportunities of managing a remote and diverse team, and how do you overcome them? So I wouldn't say we're a diverse company in that aspect. Everybody's for the most part from a similar culture, kind of knows how to speak to each other. I obviously lived in Ukraine, so I'm well integrated into how people think and how people speak, and that definitely makes everything a little bit smoother. As far as managing a remote team, it has its challenges, it has its struggles. There are certainly days that I wish we were all in an office and I could just yell across the room to somebody something that I needed and it could just be handled right there in person. The trick is just good communication, being open, being honest, having good systems in place to track everything and make sure everything's being kept on time. As long as everything's clear, and I'm not saying that we haven't had our struggles with this, I'm not saying that we're gonna not continue to have struggles with this, but as long as there's constant communication, people know when they are supposed to be online and when they are supposed to be responsive, and everybody has clear expectations, KPIs, and performance goals, for the most part, you should be able to manage a remote team very effectively. In any case, thank you so much, Vlad and Lily, for interviewing me in regards to all these questions. They were really good. Happy to share more information. If you want to learn more about HireUA and what we do, go to hire-ua.com. If you are interested and you are a Ukrainian and you speak good English and you're looking for a remote job, we would absolutely love to take your resume. Please email our operations manager. I will put her email in the link below. Thank you very much for your time, and I will talk to you all soon.